The sky was a deep shade of purple, the kind of evening that Earth had seen thousands of times before. No one could have predicted that this night would be different. As the stars twinkled, an unfamiliar sight appeared, something massive. A fleet of ships so vast they covered the sky, blocking out the stars. They arrived in complete silence, cloaked by technology that Earth's defense systems could not detect. No alarms rang, no warning sounded. Humanity was completely unaware. The world's leaders were scattered, focused on their own problems. Political conflicts, economic struggles, and natural disasters, until the day the aliens made their presence known. The invaders didn't waste time. They broadcast a chilling message across the planet, a voice booming through every channel, every device, and every speaker. The words were clear and mocking. Humans, you are weak. You are nothing but a speck in the grand universe. Surrender now, or face complete annihilation. The words felt like a slap to the face. Earth had never been challenged like this before. How could a race, so far advanced, show up out of nowhere and demand surrender with such confidence? The aliens' message was followed by a terrifying demonstration of their might. Their fleet of warships unleashed beams of energy that wiped out Earth's outer satellites in an instant. It was a warning, a reminder that the humans were no match for their power. On Earth, the world's most advanced military was preparing for a fight, but no one was truly ready for what was coming. Soldiers scrambled to get into their combat suits, pilots boarded their spacecraft, and commanders issued orders they didn't fully understand. Bonner, one of Earth's best soldiers, stood with his team, trying to stay calm as he observed the skies. He wasn't sure how they would win this fight, but he had always believed in Earth's resilience. The human spirit, the will to fight back, was strong. He trusted that, but looking at the alien ships, he felt a sense of dread he couldn't shake off. The weapons they had seemed primitive in comparison. Plasma guns that were no match for the invaders' energy beams, fighter jets that would be torn apart by the alien eye-controlled war machines in an instant. Humanity's defense system was weak against the alien technology. The initial assault began with a flash of light as the first alien warship fired upon the Earth's surface. The cities below trembled as the first casualties mounted. Bonner gritted his teeth. The aliens were laughing. He could hear it in the transmission. They saw Earth's forces as nothing but pests. Human weapons were no threat to their advanced technology. As Bonner and his team were deployed into combat, their aircraft were obliterated in seconds. Ground forces, in tanks and armored suits, charged toward the alien forces, only to be wiped out by plasma shots that disintegrated their machines and left them smoldering wrecks. It was a massacre. But amidst the chaos, something happened that neither side had anticipated. Bonner, caught in the middle of the assault, took a direct hit from a plasma beam. The air around him seemed to crackle with energy as the beam slammed into his suit, his body bracing for the impact. He expected death, the end, but it didn't come. The force was enough to throw him back, slamming him into the ground with bone-crushing force. But somehow he survived. The aliens, observing from their ships, were stunned. They had never encountered a human who could withstand such a shot. They had underestimated Earth's soldiers, and now they were beginning to realize that their victory might not be as simple as they thought. Bonner, his suit smoking from the impact, struggled to get up. His mind raced. His team had been wiped out, but he was still alive. The aliens had made a mistake. They thought humans were weak, but this was just the beginning. His survival sparked something in him. An anger, a burning desire to show the invaders that Earth was not their playground. He had always known humanity was capable of greatness, but now, with the threat of extinction on the line, he felt the weight of it. He couldn't afford to lose this fight. Earth's people had to survive, and he would do whatever it took to ensure that they did. In the moments that followed, Bonner could see the aliens adjusting their tactics. They were no longer laughing. They were confused, unsure how to handle a human soldier who had withstood a plasma shot. They had expected the humans to crumble under their superior power. But now, they saw that this human soldier, one man, had survived. The balance had shifted, even if slightly. It was a small victory, but it was enough to give Bonner hope. As he made his way back to the command center, his thoughts raced. He had only one mission now: to rally the remaining human forces, to prepare them for what was to come. Earth's defenses had been breached, but they weren't defeated. Not yet. The aliens had made their first mistake, and Bonner wasn't going to let it be their last. The battle was far from over. Humanity was on the edge, but they would fight back. Earth had been mocked, but Bonner knew that there was strength in humanity that the aliens couldn't possibly understand. They would learn it soon enough. The war had only just begun, and Earth wasn't going down without a fight. The quiet after the storm was deafening. The devastation left behind by the alien assault was overwhelming. But Bonner was resolute. The war was far from lost. He wasn't going to let the aliens destroy everything. The battle for Earth was now personal. The air was thick with smoke, and the ground trembled under the constant barrage of alien weaponry. Yet, amid the destruction, Earth's soldiers stood tall, refusing to give up. Humanity, despite its weakness in comparison to the aliens' technology, was beginning to show a side that the invaders hadn't expected: resilience. The human spirit was unyielding, and it sparked a glimmer of hope among the survivors. Bonner had seen the devastation firsthand. Cities lay in ruins, and the bodies of his fallen comrades littered the battlefield. But he knew something the aliens didn't. Humans weren't easily defeated. They adapted, they fought with everything they had, and they survived. As the aliens continued their onslaught, Bonner led his small team into what remained of Earth's strategic military zones, far from the alien-controlled cities. They knew they had to act quickly and stealthily if they were going to make a difference. The human forces had been forced to retreat into Earth's natural landscape. The thick forests, towering mountains, and deep underground bunkers were all that kept them alive. The aliens' advanced technology could track every human movement on the surface, but Earth's geography provided the perfect cover. Humans had learned how to survive in hostile environments for centuries, and now they were using that knowledge to their advantage. In the dense forests, Bonner's team navigated through the undergrowth, staying silent and alert. Their mission was clear. They needed to take down the alien drones patrolling the area. These drones were part of the aliens' intelligence network, scanning for any sign of human resistance. If they were left untouched, the aliens would be able to track every human survivor, and the war would be lost. Bonner's team, equipped with outdated but effective Earth weapons, moved cautiously. The drones, hovering above the trees, scanned the ground below with their advanced sensors. The moment they passed overhead, Bonner and his team struck. Using guerrilla tactics, they ambushed the drones, taking them down one by one with precision shots. The drones exploded into fiery pieces, their circuits frying in a burst of energy. It was a small victory, but it was a start. The team had successfully disrupted the alien surveillance, buying Earth's forces some time. But Bonner knew they couldn't rely on their strength alone. They needed an edge, something the aliens hadn't anticipated. As the team ventured deeper into the forests, Bonner's mind raced. Then, as if by chance, he stumbled upon something that hadn't been seen in centuries: an ancient Earth cloaking device, hidden beneath the roots of an old oak tree. It was an old piece of technology, long forgotten after the human race had abandoned it in favor of more modern equipment. But now, it was a potential game-changer. The cloaking device, although primitive compared to the alien tech, was capable of hiding them from the drone's sensors. Bonner, ever resourceful, quickly activated the device. To his amazement, his team vanished from sight. The cloaking field enveloped them, and they became invisible to the naked eye. The alien drones passed overhead, unaware of the human presence below. The team, now hidden, watched as the aliens searched in vain for any sign of life. For the first time in this war, Bonner felt a surge of hope. The aliens, with all their advanced technology, were confused. They didn't know what was happening. The humans had found a way to fight back, to be unpredictable. The tide was slowly turning. But with every victory came a cost. As Bonner and his team made their way through the forest, moving closer to an alien supply depot, they encountered more danger. The alien forces were vast, their patrols more frequent, and the technology they used more sophisticated than anything Earth had. The risk of being discovered was high, but Bonner pushed forward. His team was counting on him, and he couldn't let them down. It was then, in the midst of their covert operations, that the worst possible thing happened. As they reached the edge of the supply depot, an alien drone, seemingly out of nowhere, appeared directly in their path. It scanned the area with its advanced sensors, drawing dangerously close to their hidden position. Bonner's heart raced. He knew that if they were discovered, their entire mission would fail. In a split second, Bonner's best friend, Lieutenant Mason, made a decision that would change everything. Mason, who had been with Bonner through countless battles, had always been the one to put others first. He understood the risks, and he knew that this mission couldn't afford to be compromised. Without a second thought, he stepped out of the cloaking field and charged directly at the drone. "Go!" Mason shouted, his voice filled with urgency. The drone turned its sensors toward him, locking onto his position. It fired a plasma shot, but Mason, ever the soldier, dove toward the device, throwing himself in the way to take the blast head-on. The impact was immediate and devastating. Mason's body was thrown backward with incredible force, his suit sizzling as the energy coursed through him. He had sacrificed himself to protect the team. Bonner's heart stopped. His best friend, his comrade, was gone. He couldn't believe what had just happened. Mason had given everything to ensure their survival, and now he was lost. The pain of losing him hit Bonner like a wave. But there was no time to mourn. Mason's sacrifice had not been in vain. The rest of the team had made it to safety. In that moment, Bonner understood something deeply. The fight for Earth was no longer just about defeating the aliens. It was about honoring the fallen, about carrying on the fight for those who had already given everything. Bonner wiped the tears from his eyes and looked at his team. They were shaken, but they were alive. They had a chance. Bonner's voice rang out with new resolve. "We're not giving up. Not now. Not after what Mason did. We fight for him. We fight for Earth." The team nodded in agreement. They would carry Mason's sacrifice with them, and they would continue to fight. The aliens might have the upper hand, but they didn't understand the one thing that made humans unstoppable: their will to survive, no matter the cost. The tension was palpable as they moved forward, ready to strike once again. The battle was far from over. And now, with the memory of Mason's sacrifice pushing them forward, Earth's soldiers were more determined than ever to show the aliens that no matter how advanced their technology, humanity could never be broken. The war was about to take a new turn. The quiet hum of the alien ship filled the air as Bonner and his team stealthily made their way through the dark corridors. The ship, a massive war vessel, seemed alive with the hum of advanced technology. It was the heart of the alien invasion, and getting inside was their only chance to turn the tide of the war. But they knew the risks. This was no ordinary mission. The ship was heavily guarded by AI-controlled security robots, powerful and nearly impossible to defeat with Earth's current weapons. Bonner's heart pounded as he led the team forward, his mind racing for a plan. "We don't have time to waste," Bonner whispered to his team. "We have to move quickly. One mistake, and we're finished." Their goal was simple yet perilous: infiltrate the ship's core, find its weapons systems, and figure out a way to reverse engineer the alien technology. The humans were fighting an enemy that had the upper hand in technology, but Bonner knew that humanity's ingenuity could level the playing field. If they could just get their hands on one piece of advanced alien tech, they might stand a chance. The team crept through the metallic hallways, staying out of sight as best they could. The alien ship's interior was sleek and polished, almost too quiet. The floors were made of a smooth, reflective material that gave the entire place an eerie, otherworldly feel. Suddenly, a loud clang echoed from down the hall, followed by the unmistakable sound of robotic footsteps. Bonner held up his hand, signaling the team to stop. The security robots were near. "Stay low. Let them pass," Bonner ordered. His team crouched behind a nearby wall, hearts racing as the mechanical creatures moved by, their red eyes scanning every inch of the hall. The robots' sleek bodies reflected the ship's strange lights, but they moved without a sound, each step calculated and precise. Bonner's plan relied on stealth, but it was only a matter of time before the robots detected their presence. They had to move quickly. Once the robots passed, Bonner signaled his team to advance. They quickly made their way to the ship's control room, where they found what they had been searching for: a plasma cannon. This was the heart of the alien technology. If they could reverse engineer it, they could turn the tables on their enemies. But as soon as Bonner approached the weapon, a loud alarm blared, and the room was flooded with light. The team froze as the door slammed shut, locking them inside. The robots were coming. "We need to hurry," Bonner said, his voice tight with urgency. "I'll need 10 minutes to access the core and get this thing working." The team quickly set up a perimeter, preparing for the oncoming wave of security robots. Bonner, with the help of his tech specialist, began to work on the plasma weapon. It was complex, with alien symbols and interfaces that made no sense at first. But Bonner's team was resourceful. The tech specialist, a quiet but brilliant soldier, used his knowledge of Earth's technology to begin understanding the alien circuitry. Together, they began to reverse engineer the plasma cannon, adapting it for human use. Time seemed to slow as Bonner worked, his fingers flying over the controls. Sweat beaded on his forehead, and the sound of the approaching robots grew louder with each passing second. The team was ready for a fight, but they knew that their best chance lay in turning the weapon against the aliens. The robots would soon be upon them, and if the weapon wasn't ready, it could be the end. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Bonner's tech specialist let out a breath of relief. "We've got it. It's ready." Bonner grinned, his heart pounding with excitement. "Let's make this count." The door to the control room burst open, and the first of the security robots entered. Its red eyes locked onto the humans, but before it could fire, Bonner's team unleashed the newly modified plasma weapon. The blast hit the robot head-on, sending it crashing to the ground in a shower of sparks and molten metal. The team moved quickly, taking down the remaining robots with the same precision. The aliens, once so confident in their superiority, had been caught off guard. Bonner's team had breached their defenses and turned their own weaponry against them. The tide of the battle was shifting, and for the first time, the aliens were starting to lose ground. But Bonner knew they couldn't stop there. The destruction of this ship was only the beginning. They had to take down the alien command ship, an even bigger and more dangerous target. It was the centerpiece of the alien fleet, and its destruction would send shockwaves through their ranks. Bonner led his team out of the ship, their hearts still racing from the intense battle. They had done the impossible. They had survived, and they had struck back. But they knew that the hardest part was yet to come. The alien command ship loomed above them, its massive form blocking out the sky. Bonner wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. He was fighting for revenge, for the countless lives that had been lost. His mind was focused on one thing: destroying the alien fleet. The human forces, now armed with their newly acquired alien technology, launched their counterattack. The sight of human warships, once outmatched and overwhelmed, now equipped with alien plasma weapons, was a sight to behold. The skies above Earth darkened as the human ships launched a devastating orbital bombardment on the alien fleet. Bright explosions lit up the sky as Earth's forces rained down fire upon the alien ships. Each blast was like a beacon of hope, tearing through the invaders' defenses. The alien ships, once invincible, now seemed helpless against the onslaught. The humans had found their strength, and the aliens were beginning to realize that their dominance was not as certain as they had once believed. In the midst of the chaos, Bonner's heart soared. The war was not over, but this was a turning point. The aliens had underestimated humanity's ingenuity, and now they were paying the price. The humans were not just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting to win. Bonner's team, though battered and bruised, stood tall. They had struck the first real blow against the alien invaders, and their confidence was growing. The battle for Earth was far from over, but now they had a chance. And that chance was enough to ignite the fire of hope in every human soldier fighting for their home. The war had just entered a new phase, and humanity was ready to fight with everything they had. The aliens might have had superior technology, but they didn't understand one thing. They had underestimated humanity's will to fight. And now, that was about to cost them everything. The tension in the air was thick as Bonner's team prepared for the next battle. Earth's forces had finally started to push back, their spirits rising after the successful counterattack against the alien ships. But as the momentum shifted, something dark lurked beneath the surface. Bonner could feel it. The uneasy whispers, the sudden shifts in loyalty among some of the soldiers. He had learned to trust his instincts. And right now, those instincts were screaming at him that something wasn't right. It wasn't long before Bonner uncovered the betrayal. It came like a slap in the face, as unexpected as a blast from an alien plasma cannon. A faction of corrupt politicians and military officers, humans, no less, had been secretly aiding the aliens. They had been feeding the enemy valuable intelligence, sabotaging Earth's defense systems, and most shockingly, funneling weapons and resources to the invaders in exchange for power and promises of a new world order. Bonner's discovery came at a crucial moment. The human forces were preparing for a major assault on the alien command center, hoping to deal a final blow to the invaders. But just as Bonner and his team were making their move, everything changed. The battle was thrown into chaos as Earth's forces suddenly began retreating, caught off guard by their own allies. The corrupted faction had orchestrated a trap, allowing the aliens to deploy a new terrifying weapon, an eye-controlled warship unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The warship was massive, its sleek, black hull glinting ominously in the sunlight. Its AI system was so advanced that it was practically invincible. Bonner watched in disbelief as the warship tore through Earth's defenses like a knife through butter, its weapons firing with deadly precision. The situation was dire, and Earth's forces were losing ground fast. Bonner barely escaped the trap set by the human collaborators, narrowly avoiding capture by the enemy forces. As he regrouped with his team, the weight of the betrayal began to sink in. His own kind, the ones he had fought to protect, had turned against him. The loss was hard to bear, and the sense of betrayal gnawed at him. But there was no time for despair. The war was still ongoing, and Earth's survival depended on one thing: stopping the new warship. But how? The eye-controlled ship was nearly unbeatable. Its systems were so advanced that even Bonner's best efforts at hacking or sabotaging it seemed useless. Earth's forces didn't stand a chance against it. That's when the unlikeliest of allies appeared. A figure from Bonner's past, a former alien prisoner, had important information about the warship's weak point. The alien, once captured during a skirmish, had been held in a high-security facility by Earth's military. Bonner had never trusted the alien, but the situation had grown desperate. If they wanted to defeat the warship, they had no choice but to listen to this prisoner. Bonner stood face to face with the alien in the dimly lit command center. The alien was tall, its skin a deep shade of purple, with intricate markings across its face and arms. Its eyes, glowing with a strange intensity, stared at Bonner. Bonner had always viewed the alien as nothing more than an enemy, but now they were forced to work together. The alien spoke, its voice low and calm, yet tinged with the weight of knowledge. "The AI ship you face is more than just a weapon," the alien said. "It is alive, in a way. Its systems are interconnected, like a vast neural network. You cannot destroy it the way you've destroyed the others. You must disable its core processor, but to do so, you need to understand its language. Bonner didn't trust the alien, but he knew they had no choice. How do we do that? He asked, his voice filled with doubt. The alien hesitated for a moment before answering. I can help you, but you must promise me something in return. Bonner narrowed his eyes, already suspicious. What do you want? I want my people to be free. The aliens who you fight are not all evil. Some of us are slaves to the AI, controlled by its will. If you destroy the AI, you will free us. Promise me that, and I will help you. Bonner wasn't sure what to make of the alien's words, but he saw the desperation in its eyes, and for a moment, he understood. This alien was a prisoner, a victim of the same force that they were all fighting against. It wasn't just a matter of good versus evil anymore. It was a fight for survival, for freedom. Bonner thought of the soldiers who had died, the lives lost, and the families who would never see their loved ones again. This alien might be their only chance. I promise, Bonner said, though the word felt heavy on his tongue. The alien nodded and led Bonner to a hidden chamber deep within the alien ship. The room was filled with holographic projections and strange, alien symbols. The alien placed a device on the table, its surface covered in intricate markings. It was a translation tool designed to interface with the AI's neural network. If Bonner could use it, they might be able to disable the warship's AI and bring an end to the invasion. The plan was dangerous. Bonner and his team would have to infiltrate the warship, find the core processor, and use the alien device to send a signal that would disrupt the AI's control. But the chances of success were slim, and failure would mean certain death. The moment of truth arrived. Bonner, his team, and the alien made their way to the warship's docking bay, where they prepared to board the massive vessel. The AI-controlled ship loomed above them, its black exterior reflecting the stars above. Bonner's heart raced as he realized just how close they were to ending this. We do this together, Bonner said, his voice steady, though his mind was filled with uncertainty. The alien nodded, its eyes filled with a strange, unspoken understanding. As they boarded the warship, Bonner couldn't help but wonder if they were making a mistake. But there was no turning back now. They had no choice but to trust each other, and the fate of the entire planet rested in their hands. The battle ahead would be the hardest they'd ever faced. But together, they might just have a chance to defeat the AI and bring an end to the alien threat. The tension in the air was palpable as Bonner and his team geared up for the final assault. Everything they had fought for, every sacrifice, every life lost, led them to this moment. The alien mothership loomed above them, an ominous and unyielding fortress. It was their last chance to save humanity, to turn the tide in a war that had nearly destroyed Earth. With the new reverse-engineered technology they had gathered from their previous victories, Bonner felt a surge of determination. But deep down, he knew that this mission would not be without great cost. Bonner's team was prepared, but the stakes had never been higher. As they launched their assault on the mothership, they moved with the precision of a well-oiled machine. Their new weaponry, derived from the alien tech they had fought so hard to understand, gave them a fighting chance. They had to infiltrate the mothership, disable its defenses, and destroy the AI core that controlled the entire fleet. Every step felt like a leap into the unknown, as if they were walking on the edge of a razor blade. One wrong move, and everything they had fought for would be lost. The corridors of the mothership were unlike anything Bonner had ever seen before, dark, metallic, and alive with an eerie hum. The walls pulsed with alien energy, and the air was thick with the smell of ozone. The ship was vast, stretching on for what felt like miles, and navigating it was an exercise in tension. Every step they took was fraught with danger. Every shadow could conceal a hidden threat. Alien guards, armed with plasma rifles and cloaking devices, moved in and out of the shadows, ready to strike at any moment. As Bonner and his team advanced, they encountered resistance. The alien guards were relentless, their movements calculated and precise. The humans had the element of surprise, but it wasn't enough. They had to fight for every inch of ground, every hallway, every room. Plasma shots flew through the air, lighting up the dark corridors with blinding flashes. Bonner's heart raced as he ducked behind cover, firing back with the new plasma weapons they had reverse-engineered. The sound of explosions, the crackle of energy weapons, and the shouts of his soldiers filled the air. Bonner's thoughts were razor-sharp as he led the charge. His soldiers followed his lead, their trust in him unwavering. But the farther they went into the mothership, the more dangerous it became. The aliens were everywhere, and their determination to protect their ship was unparalleled. The ship's eye-controlled defenses responded with brutal efficiency, turning the corridors into deadly mazes of traps and ambushes. Bonner's team moved as one, covering each other's backs and pushing forward with relentless determination. The battle grew more intense with each passing moment, but Bonner refused to falter. He knew that this was their only chance, and he wasn't about to let it slip away. As they pushed deeper into the heart of the mothership, Bonner's mind focused solely on the mission. His personal feelings, his fear, his doubts, none of that mattered anymore. This was a fight for the future of humanity, and he was willing to sacrifice everything to ensure victory. The climactic moment arrived when Bonner and his team finally reached the core of the mothership, where the AI control center was located. But standing in their way was the alien commander, a towering figure, draped in dark armor, with eyes that glowed with a cold, calculating intelligence. The alien commander was no mere warrior. They were the mastermind behind the invasion, the one who had orchestrated the destruction of Earth's defenses and the slaughter of millions of humans. Bonner's heart pounded in his chest as he stepped forward, facing the alien commander. The tension between them was thick, almost palpable. The air felt charged with the weight of the upcoming battle. Bonner knew that this fight would be unlike any other. It wasn't just about winning. It was about survival, about ending the war and saving the people he loved. This was a fight to the death. The alien commander spoke, its voice cold and devoid of emotion. "You are nothing. Your species is weak, and your resistance is futile. You will all fall before the might of the air. Your planet is ours now." Bonner gritted his teeth. "Not if I have anything to say about it." Without warning, the battle began. The two adversaries clashed with a ferocity that shook the very foundation of the mothership. The alien commander moved with a speed and precision that Bonner had never encountered before, their strikes nearly impossible to predict. But Bonner was quick, his military training kicking in as he dodged and countered. The sounds of their weapons clashing, the hiss of plasma blades meeting metal, filled the air as they fought with everything they had. Bonner's mind raced as he fought, trying to stay one step ahead of the alien commander. He used every trick in his book, every tactical maneuver, but the alien was relentless. It was a battle of wills, each combatant refusing to back down. Bonner's muscles ached, his body bruised and battered from the intense fight. But he couldn't afford to stop. The future of humanity rested on his shoulders. The fight seemed to go on forever. But eventually, Bonner saw an opening. He ducked under the commander's strike, using the moment of vulnerability to launch a devastating counterattack. With a precise move, Bonner disabled the alien's weapon, leaving them momentarily defenseless. The commander stumbled back, clearly surprised by Bonner's tenacity. But in that moment, Bonner knew he had to make a choice that would change everything. The alien commander, now vulnerable, offered Bonner a deal. "You can kill me, or you can join us. Together, we can rule this galaxy." Bonner's mind raced as he considered the offer. But he knew that there was only one way to end this war, by destroying the AI and saving humanity. It wasn't a choice at all. With a final, heart-wrenching decision, Bonner activated the detonator in his hand, triggering an explosion that would destroy the AI core controlling the alien fleet. The ship shook violently as the blast ripped through its core, sending shockwaves through the mothership. The alien commander screamed in rage as their controls slipped away, but it was too late. Bonner's sacrifice was immense. The explosion sent him flying back, his body crushed by the force. His vision blurred, and his breath became shallow. But he knew he had done what needed to be done. Humanity would survive. The aliens were defeated, their fleet shattered, their AI destroyed. Bonner had given everything for this moment. As Bonner's soldiers, inspired by his courage, launched a final assault on the remaining alien forces, they were met with overwhelming success. The remaining aliens, leaderless and without control, fell one by one. The war was over. Humanity had won. Bonner's sacrifice would never be forgotten. His name would be remembered as the hero who gave everything for the survival of his species. And as Earth began to rebuild, the memory of the final assault, the courage of one man, and the resilience of humanity would inspire generations to come. The battle was finally over. The alien mothership had been destroyed, and the remaining alien fleet had surrendered. Earth's soldiers, led by Bonner and his team, had achieved the impossible. After months of relentless fighting, of unimaginable loss and sacrifice, they had triumphed. The alien forces that had once seemed invincible were now scattered, broken, and defeated. The galaxy, once ruled by alien supremacy, had been shaken to its core. But the victory came at a steep price. Bonner, the man who had led them to this moment, was gone. His sacrifice, the ultimate price for humanity's survival, left a void that could never be filled. Earth's soldiers, now hailed as heroes, stood amidst the ruins, feeling both the weight of their victory and the sorrow of their loss. The battlefield was littered with the wreckage of alien ships and the bodies of brave men and women who had fought and died to protect their home. As the alien fleet surrendered, Earth's forces secured their dominance. The skies, once darkened by the threat of the alien ships, were now clear. The war that had threatened to annihilate humanity was over. Yet the victory felt bittersweet. The damage had been done. Cities lay in ruins, and the scars of the battle would remain for generations to come. Earth had been broken, but not defeated. Humanity's resilience had shone through in the darkest of times. In the aftermath of the battle, there was a brief moment of peace. Bonner's team, though battered and weary, stood together in silence, watching as the sun began to rise over the destroyed battlefield. The skies, once filled with the terrifying presence of alien warships, now offered a quiet, peaceful reprieve. The sun's warm glow cast long shadows over the destruction, illuminating the faces of those who had survived. It was a moment of reflection, of mourning, and of hope. The destruction caused by the alien forces was everywhere. The landscape was scared, the earth torn apart by the devastation. Buildings that had once stood tall were reduced to rubble. The alien ships, now nothing more than twisted metal, lay scattered across the battlefield. But despite the overwhelming destruction, there was something unbreakable about the human spirit. The soldiers who stood in the wreckage were a testament to that spirit. Their will to survive had carried them through the darkest days, and now, in the face of all that was lost, they had emerged victorious. The surviving human soldiers slowly made their way back home, leaving the battlefield behind them. The journey back was long, and the scars of the war would never fade, but the soldiers were no longer the same. They had been forged in the fires of battle, and the experience had changed them. They returned not as ordinary soldiers, but as heroes, with the weight of their victory and loss on their shoulders. As they returned to Earth, the rest of humanity began to rebuild. The war had taken its toll, but it had also united the people of Earth in a way that nothing else could. The divisions that had once plagued humanity seemed insignificant in the face of the alien threat. Now, all that mattered was survival, and the strength of humanity's collective will. The survivors honored their fallen comrades in a ceremony that was held in the heart of the capital. The names of those who had given their lives in the fight for Earth were read aloud, and the soldiers stood in solemn respect. Bonner's name was the first on the list, and his sacrifice was recognized by all. He had been the heart and soul of the resistance, the one who had inspired them to fight when everything seemed lost. His legacy would live on in the hearts of those who had followed him into battle. The rebuilding process was slow and difficult, but humanity had always been resilient. The war had tested them, pushed them to their limits, but it had also shown them just how strong they truly were. They had faced an enemy that was far more advanced and powerful, and yet they had prevailed. It was a victory that would be remembered for generations, not just because of the immense cost, but because of the strength of the human spirit that had carried them through. The final message of the war was clear. No matter how advanced or superior an enemy might seem, the spirit of humanity was unyielding. Earth had shown that it would always rise against the odds, no matter how impossible the situation might appear. The galaxy had learned a powerful lesson that day. Humans were not to be underestimated. The alien forces had thought that they could easily conquer Earth, but they had underestimated the will of its people. As the last remnants of the alien fleet were removed from Earth's orbit, humanity began to rebuild, not just their cities, but their world. The war had brought destruction, but it had also brought unity. The bonds between nations, once fractured and weak, had been strengthened in the face of the alien invasion. The people of Earth had learned to work together, to fight together, and to survive together. It was a new beginning for humanity, one that would be defined by resilience, hope, and the unbreakable spirit that had carried them through the darkest times. Bonner's team, though forever changed by the war, found solace in the knowledge that their sacrifices had not been in vain. They had saved Earth, they had stopped the alien invasion, and they had inspired a new generation of humans to carry on the fight. The scars of war would remain, but the lessons learned would shape the future. Humanity had proved that, no matter how dark the times, there was always hope, always a chance to rise again. And as the sun set on the battle-scarred horizon, the people of Earth looked to the future with renewed determination. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's strength, and it would not soon forget.